Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing great. So today's gonna be a reading vlog. It's not a new release now, I bought it when it just came out, but you know, here we are. So about exactly a year ago from the day I'm starting to film this, I published a video of me doing a reading vlog of Gideon the Ninth. I thought, because I did a reading vlog of the first one, you know what's coming. I want to do a reading vlog of the second book in the series, Harrow the Ninth. These covers are just gorgeous. And they are so like Halloweeny. It's just perfect for October, so I'm excited to get into this. It's a bit thicker than the other one, and I have been in a reading slump, so I feel like it's a risky move for me to start this. It's a slower read. The magic system I don't remember. I had to reread the epilogue in the last one. And it did bring back quite a few thoughts, but I do remember there was quite a lot of magic that was being developed at the end of the last book that I'm just like nervous to get into because I don't remember everything. But I remember really liking this, and I haven't read an epic sci-fi fantasy in so many months now, so I'm a bit worried, but also I'm excited because I do feel like reading this finally. So let's jump into it. I don't know if I'm gonna be reading this for like the rest of the month, if it's gonna take 5 days, 2 days, a month. Let's go. Okay, so it's quite late. I'm gonna update you. I'm starting Act 2, which means I'm on page 140. I feel like it would be really good for me to repeat everything that happens in this book that is world building and understanding dependent, also for me, but also for anyone who's watching this video who's also confused by this book, that read the last one a long time ago, or they need an update or something like that. I feel like that would be a good idea for all of us, for our community, our book love community, people who love this book. But what I have understood is that more or less every second chapter is written in third person and every second chapter is written in second person, and I feel like every time it's written in second person, it is under the chapters that are named 9 months before the Emperor's murder. And then we also have the third person chapters, and the third person chapters I'm a bit confused about. It's what confuses me the most. You're also following Harrow the Ninth, but I feel as if it's in the past. It says 14 months before the death of the Emperor. So I don't know if this takes place before the Gideon the Ninth, because Gideon is not in it, or if there's some weird thing that I'm missing that I'm just not seeing. And I just really wish I remembered more stuff from the previous books, because now it's really catching up to me. And the personalities of the characters in the last book have really gotten lost on me. So there's a few things that I think I'm gonna reread tomorrow. I'm gonna reread the first couple pages in this book, and then I'm gonna go online and see if I can find like a summary or like a plot twist explained or something for Gideon the Ninth. Not that there was a big plot twist, but I just feel like there was an important key that was missing. And then I'll also talk more about the magic, and if I still have a grip on it tomorrow, because I just read some important stuff. We'll see. I look so dead right now. I don't know what's going on, but I wanted to update all of you. I've decided to make this a spoilery vlog. I will this time I'll actually insert a timestamp of what you can skip to if you don't want any spoilers, because I still think it's fun to see my reaction to stuff, and I know it's going to be a turbulent journey. I have watched a lot of Harrow the Ninth book reviews, and I have read up on both the Gideon the Ninth and Harrow the Ninth, the Wikipedia article plot summary. I have not read all of Harrow the Ninth, obviously. I stopped when I immediately noticed something I didn't recognize. I didn't see any spoilers. Don't worry. Big spoilers for Gideon the Ninth coming at you right now. You've been warned. So, in the end of Gideon the Ninth, right, Gideon basically gives up herself so that Harrow
is able to become the lictor. Gideon dies, and Harrow is supposed to gain these lictor powers. Lictor. There is an imposter that is Scythia, I believe her name is, and Scythia is out to kill the Emperor, and at the end, Gideon sacrifices herself so that Harrow can kill Scythia, who was one of the first likers for the Emperor. And I don't know if in the end of Gideon the Ninth it was revealed why Scythia wanted to kill, I believe her name is Scythia, wait, let me check. Cytherea. She was the 7th saint to serve the King Undying. Oh my god, this is so, like, entangled. And in this one, they are doing her funeral, around 100 pages or so, which is not a spoiler, I feel, as I'm gonna spoil this here soon. Not yet. I'll let you know. So what happens is that at the end, I think it's the epilogue or something, the last chapter of Gideon the Ninth, Harrow wakes up at the spaceship of the Emperor because together with Ianthea, oh my god, these names. Ianthea, one of the other people who were at the Canaan house, has also become a lictor, and they have become lictors together in this one. It seems that something has happened between the last book and this one to make Harrow an unreliable narrator, because there is something going on where she doesn't have all the abilities she's supposed to have, and she feels very, how do I describe that, not in control of what's happening to her. She's quite confused throughout this book, and it makes it also confusing for the person reading, because you are following second person when you're reading from her perspective, but then third person, this was what I got explained from the Wikipedia page, and it actually helped quite a bit. When we experience the book in third person, it is memories that Harrow has from Canaan house, but instead of Gideon being her guard is Ordus. It's also the name of one of the other lictors, but I don't know if it's him or if it's one of her old cavaliers that is her cavalier. So her memory of that event has somehow been altered at Canaan house. And in addition to that, Ianthea has these letters that Harrow from the past has written, and has given Ianthea the mission to give these letters to Harrow if she experiences certain events. And it's as if Harrow in the past knows something that Harrow in the future doesn't, and something has happened in between the past Harrow and the future or the present Harrow that we don't know about. And in addition to that, the writing style doesn't make it easier. And I've heard that about 60% of this book I will be confused, but when that little light bulb moment happens, it's really good. So I don't know why I decided to read this during a reading slump. It's like the worst pick. It's fucking confusing. It makes you have to focus, and apparently there's like Easter eggs, and every time someone, like, I hear someone say that, I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna miss something important. I'm always that person that just doesn't get everything, but I'm trying to stay focused, and I'm glad I did a bit of research, because it has made me more passionate about wanting to continue to read. But I'm also a bit scared. I'm a bit scared. I'm scared, guys.
Okay, I just want to mention a few things. The first book was sort of like a mystery, right? Like they had to solve all these clues within all these rooms in this the Canaan house. And in this one, I feel like the mystery is still there, so but it's more about the story itself, and the mystery is like what is going on with our main character, and like who is really the emperor, because they've been introduced to Ianthe, and Harrow has been introduced to this new realm called the River, which is basically where all dead souls and bodies, it seems, goes after they die. They have been traveling through the river, and the emperor talks about these beasts called resurrection beasts, which basically happens when you resurrect a person and a sort of force doesn't like it, and so these resurrection beasts have been haunting the emperor because he's been mass resurrecting
a lot of people from all the houses, all the 9 houses. In addition to that, the Emperor talks about some sort of rebel group, which is probably who Cyanthea, the Harrow killed in Gideon the Ninth, probably worked for. And I feel like, if it would be too simple, right? Because that's the impression I get. I feel like our main character can trust Ianthe because they were made lictors at the same time. Harrow made these letters for herself in the future or wherever, and she gave them to Ianthe. So obviously her clever self, her previous or future, I don't know, self, obviously trusts Ianthe, right? So she has to be able to trust her. Then there's all these 3 other lictors, Ordis, Mercymorn, Augustine, the other lictors that are still alive, and like lictors of the Emperor. And I find it funny that the Emperor is like so trustworthy, because I don't see any way that he should be trusted from the information I've gained from this book. Maybe I'm missing something, but I feel as if he's a fraud for some reason, and there's something iffy going on there, because he's also trying to keep our main character Harrow in the dark for some reason. I don't know exactly why. And in addition to that, his name is John. Anyone be called John, also be a god? Crazy, right? I feel like there's something natural going on with the resurrection, so maybe the resurrection beasts are just some sort of natural force trying to restore balance, and the Emperor has broken that balance. That is what I'm assuming and gathering from the story so far. I've just started, episode 5 of the Umbrella Academy, but Augustine, the characters in this, he really reminds me of, I don't remember his name, but the guy from Umbrella Academy who can see the dead. It's just funny, like every time I picture Augustine, I picture that actor. 4 months before the Emperor's murder. So I'm starting chapter 25, that is page 227. So I'm going to read like 20 more pages today, and then I'm almost halfway through the book. Yay! Can you believe it? I'm actually making it through. And funnily enough, even though I'm confused a lot, I find it also very exciting. Your brain always wants to try to solve the issue, or like the question. And in the last book, there was like people who were disguised as other people, that kind of thing. So I am thinking that it's going to be a similar thing here. I think someone in this story is not who they say they are, and because Harrow's memory has either been altered or time has been altered, or this recollection of you has been altered, so we're not even reading the true recollection, we're actually reading a false text that has been written afterwards. I don't know if I'm taking it too far, but my mind just like can't stop going with like these different theories. I am thinking that somewhere I am starting to focus on the wrong things, and I think the author has been wanting us to do this when we read the book. For example, we have this feeling that there's so few people we can trust, and I think I'm always thinking about who can I trust, who can I not trust. But I think that's almost like a diversion tactic, and it's not about that whatsoever, and it's distracting us from like the bigger thing. This is a spoilery vlog. I have decided that now. I've come to a conclusion that it must be with a book like this. But it's just really exciting. Even though the book is slow, I'm also very thrilled about where the story is taking us. I think the body is very interesting. When I actually read at the back of the book, the body was described as this spirit of a dead planet, which I didn't get at all from the book. I'm still wondering if Ordis is the Ortis Ninengrad from the Ninth House, or where all that do you see, like that is where the author wants us to think, but I think there's a bigger picture or something else. I don't know. I'm still, it's so exciting. Okay, so I am like 55% through this book, and I watched Daniel Green talk about how around 60% you get like the answers for what's going on, sort of, and it gets like really sad is what he says.
So now I'm like scared and I know I'm reaching that point soon. There's a few things that I haven't talked about. One, Gideon isn't mentioned at all. Two, I just read the weirdest thing, like the part where the Mercy Morn and Augustine just start kissing each other and then they start kissing God. And I don't understand why Harrow is so set on still having God or the Emperor as God. Like, what if they are like the rebel group? I don't know. I'm actually really enjoying trying to figure out this mystery in a way. But now I'm just getting so anxious, and if the answer's sad, then what?
So I'm on chapter 37 now. And as you can see, it's like more than 60%. It's closing on 70%. So Daniel, I don't know what the hell you were talking about. Because I still feel like I have so many questions. You know? Like, we got some answers, right? We know that the Blood of Eden, the rebel group, is actually maybe just like activists, if that's something you could compare it to. And that the Emperor and his group is actually maybe the bad people. And also they sent Harrow down on this planet to kill the planet. And I just don't understand why they're killing planets, so they have to be the bad guys, right? And then I asked myself the question, like, we know now that a lot of the people from Gideon the Ninth that we thought died, they didn't actually die, which is confusing in itself. When Harrow met them, there was a paper figure of Gideon, and yet Harrow didn't recognize her, but like, why would they have a paper figure of Gideon? My rabbit bites me when she wants cuddles. You're a weird one, sweetie. There's so many things that are so convoluted in my mind. We got a little bit of a taste as to why it's written in second person. At the end of chapter 33, there's a sentence that goes, "But you were always too quick to mourn your own ignorance. You could never have guessed that he had seen me." And then I'm like, but who the fuck is me? Palamedes saw Gideon within her, or whoever's writing the story. Me has to be Gideon. Like, who else? Or me is the resurrection beast? Or me is the body? Or, like, I just have so many questions, like, who's the body? Where is Gideon? Why didn't the people die? Who are the good guys? Who are the bad guys? I still don't know if we knew before that teacher was God back in book 1. I don't remember if that was revealed. And I don't remember if it was revealed in the first book what was in the locked tombs of the Ninth House. Because I still don't know that, and I'm scared it's relevant for the plot and I've missed something. Are you confused, sweetie? I'm so confused. Like, I'm really enjoying the story, just reading it, and I'm actually really enjoyed all the build-up that's been. And now there is a few hints. The first hint that I felt like, you know, she's bleeding when she starts to remember stuff from the past. She starts bleeding, and I wonder if Gideon is inside her, then is Gideon protecting her from knowing the truth because it will hurt her too much, like hurt her as in Harrow too much, and that's why she forgets the past? Or is someone controlling her memories, and when she starts to remember, she's like breaking the curse? But like, how does that fit into necromancy magic? There was one hint, like after she came back from killing the planet, and she sort of remembered that she'd met those people, right? But like, then it's never really discussed more. But then Harrow says, or you say to yourself, that you don't understand why some of the letters are missing, some of the letters that you gave to these people that you met. So she also forgets, she also has bad short-term memory, Harrow. If that is all the answers we get at this point, like, what the fuck? I have so many questions, and it really needs to clear up before the end, because this is too many questions to bear. Let's talk about this book for a moment. I do not have much left. I will finish it tomorrow. So, this is what I understand. Basically, the Emperor is called the Emperor because of what I understand. My interpretation of it is that Earth is the first planet that died, and the Emperor was the only person that survived, and so the sole purpose of trying to reunite life on other planets was left up to him because he's the only one that could do necromancy. And I believe the first planet that died was our planet, so this is officially like a dystopian sci-fi. That is what I understand, and I suspect that the body that our main character is referring to is either Earth, the spirit of dead Earth, or otherwise I do not really understand still what the body is, or if it's the lover of the Emperor, whose name I forgot. That kind of sounds like Addie LaRue, I think, Addie LaRue or something like that. Then we kind of got the answer, right, of what actually happened. For some reason, I think that Harrow is part of this rebels or activists. She has made herself forget. She cut her frontal lobe. I think she gave basically herself a lobotomy so that she would forget Gideon, and so she would forget that she was part of this group, and she could act separately from the group for some reason. I have to admit there's a few characters that show up that I don't really remember, but so far that is what I understand. I'm not a big fan of like the romantic stuff going on between Ianthe and Harrow, and I just read on chapter 40, 41, 42. Those 3 chapters, to me, it's like flashbacks, I feel, and I'm still not sure if it's real flashbacks or if it's fake flashbacks that she's created, or what it really brought to the story, because I feel like I didn't learn so much from those flashbacks, you know, like it is so out there and bizarre that I don't really obtain the information I get from those chapters. And I wish there's a way, I think there's a way to create this book in a way where it's just a little bit less confusing and it still has the same goal. So I'm on page 380 and Gideon Nov's name finally got answered. I think we have kind of caught up the the second person perspective to the third person perspective. So now we're only following third person, and for some reason, this is strange, it makes me feel unsafe. I felt very safe in the second person writing. I don't know what it is, but all of a sudden I feel like I'm lost again, and nothing's changed. It was just like I felt comfort in the you perspective, which is a strange experience I'm having. We're counting down, guys. Only 30 minutes before Emperor's death. It is getting hot in here, guys. Let's read on. I'm excited. Look at that. I don't remember how much I talked about last time we talked. Like last time we had a little chat. But Gideon is currently like in the last part. Gideon is inhabiting the body of Harrow because Harrow is in the river trying to get back to her body. I think Harrow has finally decided that she is okay with sacrificing Gideon and she's ready to bear the burden of grief and get back to the real world. Someone from Caden House is about to tell her something really important, and then we skip back to Harrow, so that's where I am now. And this whole shit show is going down with Cytherea, who is dead, right, but now she's being inhabited by what turns out to be Gideon's mom, which has been a mystery since like the beginning of the Gideon the Ninth. I was thinking of that. I was like, wonder who Gideon's mom was, and I forgot like that was a thing, but then I came back. That was awesome. And I just like really forgot how fun it is to be and read through Gideon's perspective, because this book is like quite grim and it's quite dark and it's serious and confusing, and it has a very special, almost like fever dream feeling to it when you're reading it. But this one sentence was just so funny. The woman I was pretty sure was actually my mother, wearing the body of a woman I'd had a crush on, who in turn had been wearing the identity of a woman she'd murdered until I fell on a spike so that my boss could kill her, craned her head around. Like, I just miss Gideon so much. I don't know how I'm doing this, but it just... The Emperor is Gideon's dad? Oh my god. Oh my god. It's so good. Like, it's just... Oh, what?
Like, I feel like this author, she does this thing where the reveals are so epic and they're so awesome. They're so cool. They're so plot twisty. Like, as if you could have figured out if you just thought a tiny bit more. And yet, I have so many questions about Harold, about the Sleeper, about the Resurrection Beast, by why they killing planets. Like, and it's like she's dropping these tiny, tiny hints that if you highlighted, you took notes, you went back and you reread the parts that seem important when they do a small, tiny, like, info stuff, you will understand everything. But as a person who just reads a book, like, a book, obviously paying attention, I won't. And then I get annoyed that I don't get all those itty-bitty yummy parts. But then she drops something like this and I'm all like, oh, I love this book, and I swoon all over it. Forgetting the fact that there's so many small bits, I feel like still doesn't make any sense. But then also, like, it's so cool how Harrow basically recreated the memories from Canaan House in, like, a river world with all the people that died at Canaan House. And instead of Gideon, she used Ordis, the old cavalier from the Ninth House, because he's dead, and so she kind of substituted him for Gideon. And so in real life, instead of the character, the lictor called Gideon, being called Gideon because she changed her memory, she deleted, Gideon the Ninth from her memory, the character of Ordis that played Gideon also replaced the name of the Gideon lictor, which I just thought was really cleverly done because it makes total sense. I really love that. I'm on page 476. I'll just keep on reading the last bit. Okay, I'm just gonna point out this one scene. I'm gonna read parts of it because I think it's really interesting now looking back on it. It's like such huge foreshadowing. If we only picked up on it, I didn't. So here we are on page 346 in my edition, right? He talks about Electo without saying her name, saying that she's the first person that he resurrected ever, and she was never really a true person. And then says, the world had ended Herhark. One moment I was man, and then the next moment I was the Necromancer Prime. Rising sea levels and massive nuclear fusion chain reaction. It all went downhill from there. That's what I am thinking, like, it's Earth he's talking about. The first house is Earth. So I'm not sure, like, what this is with dying planets and all this thing, why he's getting, like, punished by the Resurrection Beast. I'm assuming that it's unnatural to resurrect, but he needs energy from the dying planets, or planets' life from planets to resurrect, but he still wants to create life again as necromancers. And then here he says, this is the thing that I was talking about. You'd make a hell of a daughter, Harrowhark. I sometimes indulge in a wish that you'd been mine. Look at that. If we knew that Gideon was within him, and that Electa was Gideon's mother, maybe we could have known. Real talk, serious guys. I love this book. It was lovely. There's a few questions I still have. I forgot who Camilla was from the first book, and so the epilogue confuses me a bit because I don't think I know. The last chapter, the person that is she in the epilogue has to be Electo, right? Because in the first book, Harrow was the last chapter, also in the epilogue, and then this book is about her, and then the last chapter in this book, the epilogue, has to be Electo, because the next book is going to be Electo the Ninth. That is what I'm thinking. Brett, Janet, Dr. Scott. It just felt like that at the end, like, we've got Mercy Morn kill the Emperor comes back, because obviously he's God, and then everyone, he's like, go to this side of the room if you're still on my side, and then Augustine plunges them all into the river, and then they all die. My middle grade preschool play, when you didn't know how to end a play, and so when you're all on stage, you all decided to just die. Like, that's the ending of both of these books. I do still have some questions, but I think I got most of the answers. I don't understand how Gideon the First died, at what point. Or if his Lictor, who was also inside him, just like Gideon was inside Harrow, if she just took over for a while, or if she took over because they plunged into the river. If she was the sleeper, but it's like, who was the sleeper? Was the sleeper the body, and who's the body? Is that a dead planet? And what's in the tomb? Well, now it's Harrow that's in the tomb. Is she in the tomb? Did she find herself in the tomb? I am complicating things. I feel like it's simpler than it actually is, and I'm just speculating, and my brain can't stop. But that's also sort of the way like this book was written. So if you know an answer to any of the things I just said, comment down below, down below, please. Alright, you've come to the non-spoilery section of this video for everyone who skipped from like the first clip to this one. This book is so clever in the way that it plays with perspective. I feel like Tamsin Muir really nailed that, and just like the little nuggets that were dropped along, I kind of wish I would have highlighted the parts where you really do know as a reader when the nuggets are dropped. It's not like information drops and you don't understand how it's important, or you don't understand how it's important, but you know it's important when the Easter eggs or nuggets are dropped, or the info stuff. I really enjoyed this. I even enjoyed the parts that were like slow in the beginning. I enjoyed how the story developed. There's so many like reveals throughout this story, and even though there's things I still don't know, I'm super excited for the next book. I feel like it's gonna be so cool, and also with like the little sneak peek that we got at the epilogue, I thought it was amazing. I really loved it. Like, the you perspective just really ended up working for me, the second narrator perspective. It is so gruesome, you guys. There's a point where there's like a massive black hole with teeth, and it honestly gave me the chills. I won't lie. Perfect Halloween book, and I'm so glad I read it during October. It was scarier than the first one, and it was like almost like a bit of a creepy atmosphere. The first one's funny and Victorian. This one is more in space. I do wish there was a bit more explanation of like the planets, because I'm not sure exactly which planet is Dominicus and the other stuff. And Dominicus, that's the solar system. So a bit more space stuff, but I still enjoy that they were in space this time. I highly recommend this series a lot. I really loved it. So glad I read it. I'm also glad I finished though. Okay, so my last thoughts of Harrow the Ninth here from the corner of the screen. I really recommend it for readers like me. I like sometimes reading. I can't read this all the time, but I really enjoy sometimes to read books that are like a little bit more slow, a little bit more difficult, but with huge payoff for a couple reasons. First, it makes me feel smart because I have to actually think and pay attention. And two, I feel like the book was more worth it, not only because I felt like I was on a journey, you know? Like, you start at one point and you finish at another. And I really like this book. I thought it was clever. Really looking forward to the next book. I gave Gideon the Ninth 4 stars, and I gave this 5. So if it gets better, you know what that means. New favorite author, maybe. I know there's gonna be controversial opinions. Comment down below your thoughts. I hope you enjoy reading this if you decide to read it, and that you've enjoyed this ridiculously long video. Take care, guys. Bye.